no stopping the clock. Spins tick tock, can they chop? Can hip hop and pop lock? Can beat drops in. Hey, you over there, I know you see me. Is it hot in here or is it chemistry? How's locked in? Baby, take a chance to light up. All the trance to get up.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Parental Advisory Podcast. How's everybody doing today?
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Oh, fantastically well.
Fantastically.
Sensational.
Sensation.
There's somebody that I met, like, how's your day going? Best day of my life. It's like, oh, that's so dope. Day of my life.
I like
Yeah,
that.
let's
I like
get
that.
it.
I like that. Yeah, as always, we're going to ask you to do what? Starting off, we're going to ask you to please share,
subscribe, and
smash to YouTube, the Parental Advisory. We want you to subscribe to that station so that you can further share this invaluable content with the people who can really use it and who will really appreciate it. We also ask that you follow us on Instagram at the Parental Advisory Podcast. We want to get your feedback. We want questions. We even want topics that you may have that you find that could be valuable or useful to people out there. This episode of the Parental Advisory is actually sponsored by HBCU alum,
Absolutely.
our very own Terrence. Explaining, I didn't want to drop your last name like
Absolutely.
that. I had to catch myself, but we'll let Terrence go ahead and throw this out there.
Absolutely. HBC Alum, we're a platform that spotlights students, alumni, and the positive aspects of the HBC experience. And so if you're online, we are at HBCU Alum on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. We also provide exclusive apparel, which then supports our annual HBCU bound scholarships. And so we do that every year, and it's a really cool platform to be informed, get engaged, and learn a little bit about some Black colleges. And definitely give it a follow.
so for those that do not know what HBCU stands for,
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. Historically Black colleges and universities, 100 plus here in the United States. And what we do is try to actually spotlight a variety of them, large, small, public, private, all across the United States. Give it a follow. Check it out.
Cool. I love it. I follow the page. I look at it, share all the time, support historically Black colleges and
Absolutely.
universities, as always. What?
you're like, story about colleges, universities. Robotic.
Call me
We've done
so-
this
so-
umpteen
so-
times already. Remy, come on.
No, I know. I need to change it up. I need to definitely do that. Yeah. Basically, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk today about filtering out negative influences.
Right.
Oh, y'all didn't check in with Kiki. How you doing back there, girl?
I'm doing good.
You so quiet.
I'm good today.
You so quiet. What's going on up there?
I'm sorry. Up here, it's the same stuff. Same stuff here. That's real.
Oh, man.
Oh man, that's wild. Hey, you know, the seasons are changing up there. It's almost time for Jobby Nooner up there. And you gonna go to the Nooner this year?
What is
I
is
do
that?
not go to Jobby Nooner.
The Jobby Nooner?
What is that?
It's basically a big, somebody from Detroit is going to roast me for not being able to explain it. It's like a huge boat fest. Basically, like people take off work on Friday. It's always like the last Friday, I think, in June. And people take off. They go up to, and somebody from Detroit going to kill me again. But I think it's Lake St. Clair. And everybody pretty much
Have some boats.
connects their boats
Right on boats.
and go from both of them. And it's like a big boat party.
And what's
like-
it called again?
It's called Jobby Nooner.
Jobby Nooner.
Jobby Nooner.
Jobby Nooner.
So
You
you
skip
the work day and you
Yep.
go around noon.
You're around noon and everybody connects
yeah.
boats.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It
now.
gets
Now,
wild.
because
It-
that shit didn't sound.
I know, it
like,
did.
What the hell is that?
No, it goes though.
So it's like senior skip day for
It is.
adults.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopping on boats.
It goes though.
I've never gone because my dad goes.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah,
So,
you can't pull
and
that
that is not something that I want to have happen
Yeah.
in my life.
And I
So,
heard
yeah.
that's like, isn't that the
Blocking
one,
out negative
the one day? That's the one day that
Right.
Detroit is warm up there or something. That's
Oh,
going on?
wow.
one day. No, that's
You
when
know
that's.
what? That was so rude.
I know. That's when it officially gets
Oh,
warm
sorry.
and it stays into June. We good.
Oh.
We good.
It was 80s all last week.
What?
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Heat wave, baby.
Yeah. So.
We did.
But yeah, we're going to discuss filtering out negative influence. And in this day and age with the internet, social media. It used to just be what you heard on the radio and what you saw on TV, but now compile that with the internet and social media and just day-to-day what's going on in school. So if you want to tackle how to properly influence, and I hate to be this robotic person, but I have a few stats here for Tiffany, which actually were mind-blowing. A lot of American children, here we go, and this is according to focusonthefamily.com. So I had to cite my source. Reputable source. I had to cite my source per Tiffany earlier. But children actually spend an average of 8 hours and 33 minutes immersed in media each day. Wow. This includes TV, radio, music, magazine, computers, and video games. Wow. 68% of 8 to 17-year-olds have a TV in their room. 37 have cable or satellite access. More than 76% of children ages 3 to 17 have access to a computer at home. 64% of teens say they do things online that they wouldn't do if their parents knew about. And then 37% of teens have smoked marijuana, 9% have used ecstasy, and 8% have used meth.
Jesus.
Wow. These some interesting stats.
Those are crazy stats. I looked at them. I said, wow,
that's a lot.
When I was coming up, like I said, watching TV, maybe watch a little Skinamax or something like that. Maybe you could get a hold of somebody's Newport. Let me hit that short or something. But kids are taking meth. That's
insane to me.
That's wild. And it's so accessible now in comparison. You used to have to try to find an older cousin or an older brother that maybe will go to the liquor store for you and get you a bottle of Boone's Farm or something. But now, the kids, meth?
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
That's wild. That's so
pretty insane.
With us all having kids ranging from 1 to teenage years, it's wild for us to know that this is what they're facing. So for us as parents, we really have to get ahead of the 8 ball to really intervene so that they are not influenced by that. So I guess I want to ask, what are your thoughts really about those stats?
Yeah. Those stats are actually kind of very shocking to me, listening to the 8+ hours a day that
it's a lot.
Kids are immersed in media. Because when I think about it too, growing up, we watch maybe some cartoons in the morning or something of that nature. You at school, you actually had textbooks. You didn't have mobile phones on you all day. I didn't have any type of social media when I was in middle school, high school, right? And so when you came home, what I was excited about was checking my mail on America Online.
You've got mail.
That was a big thing. And then watching some TV. I loved like Cosby Show and also Saved by the Bell. Like, I watched that kind of stuff. But I didn't have an aspect of getting on Twitter or YouTube or something and seeing what's happening in California or Afghanistan. You don't know. Like, the world is so connected these days, and so it's hard to shelter, isolate your kid who maybe is a small kid growing up in Iowa. He knows what's going on in Atlanta because you're connected now. I didn't have that connectivity. I had to read a book or look at a magazine type of thing. So the outlets that out there actually causes some anxiety because you can have, I'd say, predators or scary folks or people who are meant to do harm to your kids out there lurking in the shadows type of scenario, and they're one keypad away. So that's what's also very scary. The parental controls that you can put on TVs and phones and things of that nature, definitely something that I'm planning on doing. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't want to have the access of a kid to be able to go to the dark web from their phone while they're in their room at night. So I just thought that kind of scares me.
For me, my girls are 14 or 15. They just got a TV in their room.
Oh, wow.
I'm really big on family time and us watching TV together. Yeah. So they just got their own TV in their room. And I don't regret that, not even a little bit. I'm still really big on let's watch family time together. With that being said, I've also said in a previous episode that I'm really big on experiencing their first of whatever with me. So I'm not against watching a movie that may be inappropriate for them because it generates a conversation. I see reactions at real time that I wouldn't see if they watched it on the low. You know what I'm saying? So like, for instance, that Jennifer Lopez movie, Hustler. I intentionally watched that movie with the girls because I do nightlife. And unfortunately, there's a stigma on that. And it's like, mom's not a dancer, does something different. But there was a lot of conversation in that. There's drug use in that and using men and money hungry type of thing and that kind of aspects. Thoroughly enjoy making my girls as uncomfortable as I possibly can in front of me, because then do I get the raw and authentic hard questions that wouldn't be asked until they're in a situation and it's too damn late at that point. Yeah. So yeah, my girls just got into social media too. As a businesswoman, I almost get frustrated with them because learn a daggone TikTok something so y'all can do this work for me, and they're just not into it. They just got an Instagram. I'm talking weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's just to help me like. I need y'all to help me edit these videos because I can't. This is that part that's a lot. And for me to have 3 teenagers, there should be no reason why I'm not TikTok viral at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I'm surprised you aren't either.
that was a conversation that we all had, and they have TikTok, but just to watch it. No one was posting anything. And then we had a conversation how they have Instagram. I think just by nature, I never really had to be super, super stern with that type of topic. I think by nature, the way I've raised them, they just never really had an interest in it. The way I was brought up, it was like, the more and more you tell me not to do something, I'm going to find an avenue to do it. I didn't raise the girls to be like that. It was like, I can be open with mom, so rarely do they have to hide anything. For me, at least that's what I feel. So social media has never been an issue for us. Them watching provocative anything has never been an issue for us. They enjoy scary movies, and I have to force them almost to do that kind of thing with me. But yeah, I have to ask them to sit down and watch a movie that I know is going to trigger something, and I want it to be an uncomfortable conversation because I want you to have that. I want you to ask me those questions so you can get that part from me. Yeah, I've been blessed. My girls are legitimate when they were 12, when they were 13-year-old little girls. I didn't have grown ass, nothing. Another influence that you did not mention is family. I am huge on that. I, as you heard many times, didn't come up from the best family in the world. So I've always been very protective with my children and how they connect with my family and how much that influences them. Yeah, and it's made worlds of a difference. I may connect with some of my siblings or some of my family in personal ways, but they don't have access to them, and that is for a very good reason. Siblings, they're doing TikTok, they're doing things that I just don't allow, and I can't even say allow. My daughters just simply do not do. So that is a huge influence that I create a barrier around, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. I call it just being finicky and protective, and I'm totally okay with that.
And I know, Kiki, for you, especially with your field of work, I know you have so many different conversations. So how do you feel about these stats? I'm sure you probably know them like the back of your hand, but how do you feel about these stats?
The stats are, especially the drug stats, I'm pretty sure that those numbers are a lot lower than what they actually are, because you got to think about it. How do you find out what kids are doing? And it's from self-report. And so some kids are not going to tell you the truth about what they're doing. Some of that is probably a lot higher than what it is. When it comes to my girls, my oldest, 14, high school, we always had the talks about, she's always wanted to be in social media. She's that kid. I want to be on this. I wanted to do all those things. And so our biggest thing was always talk about, okay, how do you do this safely? And I talk about that with everything. If you're going to do something, you're going to be safe about it. This is how we do things safely. I can tell you what I would like you to do and what I would like you not to do. But if you're going to go and be stupid, then be safe and stupid.
If you're going to do stupid, safe.
Seriously. Like that, I think that's a real conversation. And we talk about, me and my oldest, we talk about exit strategy. If you're somewhere where you probably shouldn't be, how do you get out of those situations? How do you be in a situation where you thought it was going to be okay for a moment, but it turns out perhaps it's not? Like, how do we get out? You can always call me to get you, but you also have a couple other people that you can call that will come and get you if you need to be out of it. My biggest issue, my oldest is pretty okay. When she was younger, she actually followed directions. I told her don't watch something, she did it. Didn't have to do any type of parental things, like she didn't do it. Now she watches everything, but she asks me everything too. I've always told her, like, your friends are dumb. They don't know. They know just about as much as you know. So if you have a question, ask me and I will answer it truthfully. And I've always answered her truthfully. Unfortunately, sometimes I hate that I have to answer her truthfully because I told her I would. But I do. Now, my little gangster child, my 4-year-old, who
little Pee-wee.
She's just starting to, she has a little iPad, so she likes YouTube, but we've limited her to kids. And for a while, she was watching the regular YouTube only because there was a Black family that wasn't on kids YouTube. And they had to advocate for themselves because they were a kids show, but they wasn't putting them on kids YouTube. And apparently they were doing that to a lot of
Black YouTubers.
Black family.
Which family was
it? Oh my goodness. Google Colors. Google Gaga.
Is it like Google Gaga? Hey, he's actually a TSU alum.
I know that.
He is. Google Gaga.
That's who she started off watching, and she loved them. But for a long time they weren't on kids YouTube, but they're on it now. So we switched back over to kids YouTube. But she tries to sneak and watch regular YouTube, but she watches weird stuff. Occasionally,
YouTube goes down rabbit holes. Too.
Oh yeah,
it goes down some crazy rabbit holes.
Occasionally, like I catch her and I'm like, "What are you watching?" Nothing. I'm like, "Turn it off." Like, and she knows, turn it off. I don't know. You're watching something weird. And sometimes it's not necessarily bad. It's just odd. I'm like, that's. You're 4.
Yeah,
let's just turn it off. Like,
I was gonna say TikTok is like, odd things to not make you laugh, and it's like dumb stuff.
Yeah, but YouTube is the one, because even sometimes Zoe will log on to YouTube and I can hear it. I don't sit there and watch over, but like I hear some of the conversations going. I'm like, that's something you shouldn't be watching. Let me go over here and let me put this on kids YouTube or whatnot, because I actually have like I gave her my old iPad and it's like literally the iPad 2, so she has to go on the browser YouTube. Like I can't even download the app anymore. So she'll be on there and it typically will stay straight, but sometimes it'll go down a rabbit hole and I'll have to get on there and pull it.
Yeah.
And one thing too.
Yeah, and my kid would do that with Peppa Pig for a while. She would try to watch it, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "This isn't Peppa Pig."
Right,
you know that this isn't Peppa Pig. Turn this off. All of a sudden, it's demonic eyes. Peppa Pig got a gun. I'm like, "What? How did we get here?"
Yeah, you get to spoofing it. What were you gonna say?
And that's one thing too. I was looking at TikTok. I do that a lot for my business, and a lot of times some of the lives on TikTok are really weird. Right? And
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, so you follow the algorithm, and it's supposed to showcase things that you similarly like beforehand. But it puts out some strange stuff sometimes, right? So my question is for everyone: if your kids are on, if they have a Instagram or Facebook and these type of things, do you actually go in there every once in a while and see what they're
absolutely all the time,
making sure they're
all the time.
See, mine does. She doesn't have anything with YouTube. There's nothing else, but I would, and I have friends that have, and they actually take their kid's phone like at a certain time.
Yeah.
I have no people that at 9 o'clock, I take the phone and they go through, they look at their text messages, they look at their browser, they look at
you gotta catch them on a sneaky tip. I don't do it every night, but give me your phone.
Give your phone.
Yeah, and then give you no chance to delete, not a nothing.
Yeah, that was a question I had too. That's a way to protect. There's the parental controls, but that's another way to actually help protect or from those negative influence or protect from cyber bullies and all of that is just unknowingly taking those phones and like taking a look at it, because
I do it all the time.
That's the thing. I didn't have that. My cell phone, I could play Snake.
Yeah, that little Nokia.
You know, that Nokia, I could play a good game of Snake. I could make a phone call. And once I got to college, that's when the camera phones started. And that's when people started sending all kind of crazy stuff. So it's just a different day. It really takes us. And I'll be honest, like I have to tap into my younger sister because she's 14 years younger than me for certain stuff, because it's a different era. So I'll ask her, I'll be like, hey, what's so-and-so? And she'll be like, oh, it's blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to utilize that, even though there's a gap between her and Zoe. But as she grows up, that can be a resource for me because she'll be a little bit more in touch. Obviously, Zoe, different generation, but she's still a little bit more in tune than I am.
Yeah. And one thing that's also a little strange, and one of my colleagues told me that they have a kid who plays a lot of interactive video games. And they might be playing a Call of Duty or some type of Roblox.
With a whole stranger.
Exactly. You may have a teenager or a kid playing with a grown person. And you got to monitor those kind of conversations as well, because some things may be completely trustworthy and honest. But
is there a filtering system? That's going to be new for me.
I have a buddy. I have a buddy. He's our age and he plays those interactive games and he's like playing. He's not a creeper or anything.
Yeah, but you're still, you can talk.
Yeah,
right?
you can talk.
Yeah, that's intense for me.
Yeah, he be talking wet to them kids. I'd be like, bro, stop talking to the kids like that.
I know, but that's the creepy thing. You can have somebody who says, oh yeah, where are you located? And the kids don't know. He's like, oh, I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kids don't, they're so green.
They don't know
that. So that's the thing that's a little scary as well. Having people have access to anyone online in a game, on social media, simply even on Google Maps.
Hey, Words with Friends. There's an interactive. It's like everything has an interactive thing. Like I said, Words with Friends. It's playing it, but there's a chat. Anything that has a chat function, you have to keep an eye out for because you never know. So for me, having a 5-year-old, she doesn't have a phone. She always said, I want an iPhone 13 or whatever. I'm like, you don't need a phone. You don't need a phone. Now, when she's maybe, 11, 12, and she has more activities, then I'll be more liable, but I'm going to be like you guys, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to look and make sure, because like you said, kids are green and they don't know and they're unsuspecting.
But they're sponges even at Zoe's age. Monty's age, he don't have a phone, but he sure as heck know how to navigate through mine.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, I've taken my phone plenty of times and I see she's taking selfies and videos and doing all. And the funny thing, there was the other day, we were coming back from Botanical Garden because she watches, because now everything on YouTube follows the lives of these families or whatever. So I'm driving and I hear her basically like she's loosening her tooth. So she just lost a tooth. He's like, yeah, guys. She's like influencer. She's, hey, guys, she's recording just on the iPad. Hey, guys, I just lost my tooth. I know it was weird, blah, blah, blah. But I was like, is she back there being a little influencer? I was cracking. And I have to delete that. I didn't like that. I'm like, what are you doing? It was harmless. She had no way to upload it, but it's just through her watching YouTube and seeing what these kids are doing, she's able to mimic that. It's wild. It's wild. So as for parents, you have to ask ourselves, how do we properly educate ourselves so that we can minimize the risk of our kids maybe being contacted by something inappropriate? How do we go about that?
I think just being hip to all the different mediums of communication. A lot of people older age, like, I don't know anything about TikTok. You actually should. You should actually at least know how to search and look at friends and inboxes and things of that nature, and all the social media aspects as well. Even from a television standpoint, I think I don't have a TV in my bedroom now because that was just something we had where, like you said, family time, TV in the den, TV living room, and it wasn't something in the bedroom itself. If you wanted to read, you could, but it was something a little bit different. So TV, I think that aspect of kind of corruption is still there. But you can parental control that a little bit more with different filters. With Al Gore's internet, man, it's wide open.
Yeah, that's right. But TV is super influential. We're not just talking drugs and rape and that kind of thing. Look how big the gay presence is now on social media. My son is watching something that's PG-13 and there's still a gay reference or two gay men or two women or however it is on television, and that's so much more present right now than it's ever been. And now I'm having to explain it.
Have conversations.
Have those type of conversations that I don't remember having growing up, like at all.
No,
zero.
It wasn't at all that presence on the TV at all. And that's, I guess, the evolving of Hollywood, and Hollywood is kind of making these type of shows. But what's really frustrating about me, every time we watch something that's Atlanta-based, you already know how it's going to be.
Yeah, but even commercials. Even there was a Calvin Klein ad that I just saw. It was a Calvin Klein ad. It was a woman on the bed, and there was a man on the edge of the bed, and he was pregnant. It was a transgender woman.
I didn't see
and
that.
it was a Calvin Klein ad that was on magazines and all over the television. And it was a man, but again, a transgender woman.
And how do you have that conversation with a 3-year-old?
Exactly. So it's, oh man, so this person is not comfortable with their identity. And then my son, coming from a really religious background, is just, Jesus made him that way. I made him that way. Now we're going into another rabbit hole and another rabbit hole and another. So those are really difficult, super difficult conversations to have.
Yeah. And I know it's sensationalized because, one, it's effective because you're talking about the ad, right? What they really want at the end of the day. But it's also corrupting I can't even say, I mean, it's not a conservative versus liberal type of scenario, but it's a little bit more out there than it was in our generation.
Yeah, for sure. What's your take on it, Kiki? Because like I said, I know you have probably some interesting conversations, especially when you start talking about gender identity. What have you seen?
One of the biggest things that is just really how I handle it is really just talking to them about everything. My 4-year-old, I don't know, she lives in her own little bubble. I told you, if she comes across something she's not paying attention to, a lot of different things based off what she's watching, to where she's not asking as many questions as opposed to her older sister was when she was younger. She would ask way more questions about everything. And like I said, I would just be completely honest with them. No, because I'm used to having these conversations with my clients and everything like that. I'm comfortable having them with my kids. So it becomes something that we just talk about. Stay on top of everything, like knowing what everything is. There's been times where I'll sit here like with clients and they tell me about something, a kid will tell me about a different app that they're using and I'm writing it down. Okay, what's that? What's that? And there's some things that I just, from just different places that I've worked where, when I first learned about, Snapchat? When I first learned about Snapchat, it was horrible. When I first heard about it, I was like, oh no, we will never use this. But it's evolved since then. How I heard about Snapchat was that somebody was like, hey, this is what the pedophiles are using here.
Oh, wow.
That's how it was introduced to me, because it used to be, it was just the picture would delete right away. It's not whatever it is become now because I'm not on it. But
they still have Snapchat.
Okay.
Is it gone? It's still
still do Snapchat.
Yeah, it does way more than what it did before. But yeah, at that time, that's how I learned about it. And I was like, oh, this isn't something I want to be on. But I would keep a running list of all the different apps and stuff that people, and I would give them to parents like, hey, like, these are the things for you to look at. Especially now, another popular one right now is Discord that is that a lot of kids are using and
I don't know what that is.
Hey, I'm sure my age. I'm like, Discord.
Who named that?
It's one where you can create your own group to talk to. Like you come up with different topics. But so you can head one up and I can put like all of you as part of, but you can join other Discord groups with different topics. It reminds me of Reddit.
Yeah, it's like a Reddit.
But it's on a different,
different level.
What was that app where it's like different chat rooms, but it wasn't typing? Clubhouse. What that reminds me of Clubhouse.
Yeah, Discord. A lot of companies or virtual companies put together various informational workshops or things like communities. Zoom? Yeah, like wealth building communities and things like that. On Discord, you can share files and information and
interesting
live videos.
Well, that segues into what measures would you say? What measure do you guys take to keep the open lines of communications with your kids so they feel comfortable sharing when they feel like, ooh, maybe this is kind of those influences are in my face? What are some of the open lines of communication? Because like I said, for me, with a 5-year-old, maybe somebody at school says something and she comes back and says, so-and-so says this. And then I can decipher, look, this is what they mean. This is what they want. It's YouTube. She doesn't really have older cousins or anything to influence her in a negative way. So I'm not foolish to think that the kids, because she goes to an elementary school, so she's sometimes probably interacting with fourth graders that are fifth graders that are more advanced. But for me, I just make sure that if something is presented to me, I say, hey, this is what they're saying. This doesn't mean you need to do that. This is because so-and-so does this doesn't mean you need to do that. And I just try to do my best to tell her what my idea of right from wrong is. But when you have older kids, it's a little more challenging if you have high school age kids.
Correct. And kids and the peers are very influential. So, Jim Rome stated, I think you're the product of the 5 people you spend your most time around, right? Your kids, friends and pals and teammates and things of that nature, you got to know maybe who maybe is a little bit of a bad apple sometimes. We probably want to maybe try to steer them away. And that's a little difficult. I'm not sure your tactics of actually doing that per se. But yeah, we talked about influences and you said family and talked about social media and television and what they see out in public. Their friends, different people are raised differently. I mean, you may actually have some friends who may be leading them astray. So those are some things to definitely be cautious about and cognizant about as well.
Me, I guess I'm lucky enough to still be, I'm the young mom. So with my daughters being 15 years old, I'm 34, so you do that math. And so I'm still considered the cool mom, where the other moms are 45 and plus, 50 and plus. Yep. So their friends like to hang out with us, with me. So I'm eagle-eyed. Now I can see everything because you're not just hanging out outside of my open space. I can't say that I control that. They just happened in that way. They want to hang out with the younger mom. I do fun activities with my girls. That's not, and my oldest, she has a little boyfriend. I hate that I said little boyfriend. And he's super respectful, and he's very well mannered, and he's yes ma'am. And no, but I listen because they FaceTime all day every day. So I'm listening. It's not like just a phone conversation. They're on FaceTime. They may not be saying anything to each other, but he's on that daggone FaceTime. But I met him for the first time during her birthday. And he was very polite, very nice, and they wanted to come back. It wasn't like, I want to do this over here. It was like, hey, can we go to the movies with you guys? Hey, can we go skating with you guys? They didn't mind him and his friends coming to hang out with us. And I think that gives me a little bit more leadway with the girls, because I couldn't imagine hanging out with a boy at that age with my mom, like at all. But then I would sneak and do it. So with my girls, I don't ever feel, I think they've hung out twice at a movie theater. And before we even walked out the door, I knew who was going, the phone number. I spoke to the parent. I knew what time they were going, what movie they were watching. My girls, they respect that boundary. I think I've instilled in them, you give mommy everything and she's going to give you a little bit more. But the moment I feel like you're trying to play me or something like that, I'm cutting that off immediately. I actually owe you nothing but a roof over your head, some food in your stomach, and a great education and some clothes.
You sound like Furious Styles from Boys in the Hood. What do you have to do around here? All I got to do is put food on the table, put clothes on your back.
Everything else is a luxury. That iPhone, that's a luxury. I pay that bill. You know what I'm saying? If mommy says cut it off after a certain time, it's like there's just a level of respect that you just follow those rules, and I should not be on level 10 to do it. That's just what it is, because I have no remorse taking it away. That doesn't actually make me a bad mom at all.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yep. You don't pay those bills anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff comes from having those conversations with your kid when they're younger, because me and my teenager, we've always had those conversations like, okay, what makes a good friend? Oh, this is my friend. Oh, why is that your friend? And so we've always talked about that. So that she's always been able to pick really good friends. And I tell her even now, like when she's, oh, this is my friend. No, it's not. I don't even know that person. And that's all I know. Like friends are the ones that I know. Like your friends can come up to me and go, hey, auntie, hey, and everything. And that's those who your friends are. If I don't know them, if I can't pick them out in a group, then I'm sorry to tell you that that's not your friend. Because I've met everybody. I've met them all, and that's how that goes. And I think that's an important part of it. So it makes it easier as I get older that you can filter out some of those negative influence of peers. My teenager, she tries me. The kids that she hangs out with when she gets in trouble are not her friends. And I tell her, like, who are these people? Like, who met these people a day before in your life? Like, when you hang out with your actual friends, you don't get in trouble. Like you do fun stuff. You do fun, normal things. But and that's my kid. She is me as a kid. So I know she's gonna try to sneak and do stuff, but with all the technology in the world today, like I have an app on her phone, Life 360. I can see exactly where she is at all times.
Yeah, me too.
See where she is at all times. How fast the car is going that she's in. If they drive too fast, if they hard stopped, if everything. Yeah.
I think I have the luxury of the friend thing didn't really come to play up until recently. I would say they always had each other. So it was like they were each other's friends. I don't remember I can't even now remember ever having an issue with like, okay, that's a bad seed. I don't want you hanging out with her. They've always hung out with each other. I think now they're getting into their own groove of things at this age. And even then it's one or two friends because honestly, once I have 3 girls, teenage girls. So it's 2 each. That's 6 daggone people in the house. That's 6 more people in the truck. So it's like they don't have a group of friends. Maybe the older 2, they have the same friends here and there because they could share the same classes. But I've never had that issue with a bad seed. They've always really been each other's best friends, essentially. So I got lucky with that.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Although we have all these influences that are negative, more so than when all of us were coming up, we do have quite a few, what do they call them, like fail-safes, fail proof, something. I'm sorry, I can't get my words together. Fail safe. We have these things in place to help. We have parental blocking. You have the 360 live. So really to the listeners, it would just say, do your research to utilize and figure out what's going to work, because there's just too many. You can't learn every social media platform. You can't pick every friend. You can't be around. What I would recommend is go on the internet, Al Gore's internet, as we call it, and figure out what are some of these blocks that we have that can help, because these influences are crazy and there's only going to be more social media. As soon as you figure one out, there's going to be a new one. So
I learned a new one, Discord. I
didn't know what Discord was either. So I would definitely recommend that. So definitely good stuff. I appreciate Terrence and Marquita for putting me and Tiff on some new stuff. We ain't know about that. So definitely, I don't know if anybody had any closing statements or anything they wanted to share with the folks.
I think you guys are phenomenal parents, just saying that individually.
Oh, thank you. I think you're dope as well. Absolutely. And what we want to make sure that whatever you do is you follow the blueprint.
Yes.
Very true.
Follow that blueprint.
No, you are the blueprint.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't forget.
Are the blueprint.
You are the seed. That's what happens when I misquote people. I hate to do that. You are the blueprint. So your kids are going to follow your lead. So make sure you're giving them a good blueprint. Make sure you're leaving them a good blueprint. So I want to thank everybody for hopping in. Like I said, this episode was sponsored by HBCU alum. Absolutely. Hit them with the power. Hit them with the Fight the Power. And don't forget to subscribe, hit, like, share on YouTube, the Parental Advisory Podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.